The prep, which is the 4-minute gun. You can look at the boat there. You've seen the 5 flags. We're back to the old 5 flag equals 5 minutes. You're about to have, there you go, 4 minutes. 1 flag gets removed. That's 4 minutes to go until the start. The Sydney Harbour is very, very busy. It'd be hard to overstate that. There's a full-size Etchells fleet just setting up to leeward at the start line. There's ferries left, right and centre. There's a 30-boat laser fleet just to windward. There's the historical skiffs up there, and there's all manner of keel boats. Sydney's always busy, Jimmy, isn't it? But to be honest, this is super busy, and it's going to be a boat management issue.
Absolutely, it's like a New Year's Eve of sailboats on the harbour, Mark.
It is, it's crazy. Graham, last time you were racing, you would have experienced something like this. Does it kind of fry your brain, or do you see it as a potential advantage if you can pick your way through?
I don't think you ever get away with just picking your way through, and you just get surprised the whole time, and it's the crew that can handle that surprise calmly will do very well out of it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. You just got to expect the unexpected.
Do they have this sort of traffic where they sail on the 18s over in New Zealand, Graham?
No, not at all. We have quite a big expanse of water, and we don't have quite so many boats. So,
So short answer, definitely not. No. So there's Honda Marine just sizing up the windward end of the line. We're now inside 3 minutes. Will we get around the first start? Well, possibly. It's quite a long line. We can see the pin end of the line. It's a fair way down there. The line looks plenty long enough for the 25-boat fleet. The weather is looking like it's been up and down. Just to give you a quick summary, about about an hour ago, the crews couldn't decide between big rigs and small rigs. They all went with big rigs. 10 minutes later, of course, the breeze came up. It always does that, doesn't it? They're all thinking, shall we change? Well, luckily they didn't, because the breeze then dropped down again. So we're seeing somewhere around in the lulls, and the soft stuff is right down at about 8 knots, 9 knots. In the puffs, we're up at about 14, 15, and that is right through the crossover between big and small rigs. Graham, the good news, though, is that these boats have now got more adjustment on the rigs, haven't they? More so maybe than when you last sailed one.
Yes, I think that was a smart thing to do, because it just extends the range, and so if you get a little bit caught out with your one rig on, you can depower it a lot better than you used to be able to.
So we are getting close to into the 1 minute gun. We've got about 1 minute 30 seconds to go till the start. We're going to start seeing how these boats line up. We know that typically on this race course, getting into Bradley's Head all the way into the bricks on a long starboard tack usually works. The left-hand side is where you want to be. Today, though, there's an especially large amount of traffic on the left-hand side of the race course. So that might become a reason why we see the boats stepping out away from the hard left of the race course. But the start is pretty much the same. If you can, you want to be first into Bradley's, tack before that little vacuum of breeze that we often talk about, and we'll get into that as the race develops, and then try and come out on port. 1 minute gun. Everyone is present and correct. We have got, just seeing on camera there, that's the pin end. There's a cruising boat finishing a different race, different to ours. And we're going to hopefully our skiffs can keep out of the way. Our pin end is that black and white checkered buoy. ASCC down the leeward end, winning group who'd made a great start at the pin end yesterday, are both looking like they're competing for the same space. ASCO couple up to windward. Down at the far end there's Kitchen Maker as well, Maerskline, Bingley. Well, you can see them all lining up down there. Up back at our end, we're up at the committee boat end of the line, as we've got just 25 seconds to go. We've got Noakes at this end, Del Zotto, Coopers, Lumix, Finport, one of the top Aussie boats, is lingering with some kind of intent up here at the committee boat. She's found a little gap, so she looks like she could put the hammer down at just the right moment with about 7 seconds to go. Things are looking a little bit tight down the pin end. ASVC and winning group fighting hard to try and not be over early. It's ASCC. I've got that pin. There is the start. Only one gun, 2 guns.
Individual.
Just an individual recall. Well, that looked relatively well behaved. So up at the committee boat end, it's Yandu and Noakes Marine hard right, literally taking the paint off the committee boat. Down at the Lewin end, it was a winning group and an ASCC battle to win the pin. ASCC controlled things very nicely. Both of those boats in pretty good shape down the left end. Very early days, but surprisingly, maybe, Graham, to me, we got a clean start on the first start.
Well, did we? I thought there was a second gun there.
Cleanish, not a general recall. Anyway,
no, not a general recall, but someone's over and no one's going back. So,
well, the rumour is ASCO. They're the one that we thought were nudging their bow out.
So the 2 boats that were over, I'm just listening on the radio, Mark, is ASCO and ASCC.
So ASCC, that were battling to win that pin, battled just a bit too hard. Well, that's not going to be the start of the regatta that either of those two boats want. Remember, there's only one discard in this event, and none of them are going back, and even if they went back now, they'd have an awfully big battle to get back through. So 9 races, 1 discard, and it looks like both ASCO and ASCC have now used up that discard, and the importance of that is they are very much 2 of our front runners. I mean, super early days, Graham, but early advantage to Honda Marine just because of the 2 recall boats that haven't gone back.
You may have seen it on screen that Honda Marine was taking a very cautious approach, and I think that they can work their way out of trouble, and so they took a very cautious approach. I think it was a smart thing to do.
We're taking a little look on the drone shot at that leeward end of the line, and not surprisingly, ASCC, we didn't see exactly how far she was over. You might have seen it at home more clearly on the drone, but over is over, and ASCC leading on the water, but we are reasonably confident that she has been recalled. When we get total confirmation, we'll let you know. But that is the early call from the committee boat, but we will double check that. We don't want to lead you guys all astray at home. But at this point in time, we believe that ASCO and ASCC, both of which are performing very nicely at the left end of this fleet, are almost certainly both going to be disqualified. So, assuming that is the case, it's winning group in great shape. Bingley in a bit of dirt behind them, hanging on in there. Just up to windward of ASCO is Armory Pitwater, Simon Nern's guys, who performed extremely well yesterday for the first half of the race, then fell off the planet on the second half a little bit. But yet again, he's looking pretty competitive early on in this race. But Jimmy, this is not a standard northeasterly. They are clearing Bradley's head.